What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV Daily Rewind. This is where we go back a week, give you the past 7 days of tech news in one single video. And I am recording this with my Galaxy S21 Ultra because this phone is going to be gone in a few weeks and be replaced by the Galaxy S22 Ultra. But with that said, we had so much information come out about the Galaxy S22 series of phones. So much so that you might not even need to watch the Unpacked event. That we have a plethora of information. We have information on the Galaxy Z Fold 4 and so much more. I like to rhyme. That's a dime. With that said, let's get into the news. Hope you have a great week, and we'll see you in the next one. And that is that the Galaxy S22 series is partially delayed release date. That's right. Two of the phones, the Galaxy S22 series of phones, 2 out of the 3 phones have a delayed release date, but the one that I want is not looking delayed, and that's the good part. So let's talk about this. This information comes from John Prosser, who is a YouTuber, so check out his channel if you'd like. Bad news, he says, I'm told that due to supply chain issues, the Galaxy S22 lineup has had a slight setback. Pre-orders for all devices is still happening on event day, February 9th, so we can at least pre-order all of them on February 9th. However, availability has now been split. Galaxy S22 Ultra will be released on February 25th. The S22 and S22 Plus are pushed back to March 11th. So about 2 weeks later, you'll be getting the other 2 phones, the S22 and S22 Plus, whereas the S22 Ultra, again, that February 25th release date. It also makes me think that I wouldn't be surprised if we see some kind of delay with the tablets as well. Maybe not all of them, but some of them. The other thing I'm thinking about is the Galaxy S22 Ultra 1TB version of the phone. We already know that that's supposedly pushed back a little bit as well. We haven't heard an exact date, but now I'm thinking that the S22 Ultra 1TB version's probably also going to be released on March 11th. So not very good news, but at least we're getting, new phones that are potentially people want to upgrade or just want a newer device anyway because it's a newer device. And it's still only 2 weeks after the initial release date. And I think even these dates, if I remember correctly, the February 25th was kind of pushed back as well. So it's like we're looking at these pushbacks and pushbacks and pushbacks, but I'm assuming these are probably finalized dates at this point just because we're so close to the point of actual announcement and release that you would think they'd have all their ducks in a row and they would know exactly, okay, we have this many, we're gonna release it at this point as well. Our first story of the day is prices. We've been hearing a lot of information about the Galaxy S22 series of phone prices going up, $100 more per phone, but this latest story is saying that the prices are going to stay the same, which is totally cool. And this is coming from Front Page Tech, also known as John Prosser, and he's talking about this on his YouTube video today. But ultimately what he says in here is that the S22, as you can see from it, is going to be $799, S22 Plus is going to be $999, and the S22 Ultra is going to be $1199. Now obviously these are baseline prices, and you can fight with it a little bit and saying like, oh, these phones only have 8 gigs of RAM at these prices, and that they only have 128 gigs of storage. I agree, but these prices are still lower than what we were expecting. And I think most of you will probably end up buying, especially if you're gonna buy the Ultra, are probably gonna still buy the $1299 version, which is that next step up with 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage, and then go up from there as the prices go up. But still, very cool to see this, that the prices are quote unquote staying the same, even if they're giving us potentially a little less for our money in terms of specs. It's still good to see that the prices potentially, because he says he's 100% confident in this, or very confident in it, that the prices are staying the same versus last year. Next up, as you can see from this is the Euro prices for the Galaxy Tab S8 from Roland Quand, and it goes through all configurations and sizes of this tablet, so you can definitely see that it ranges from as little as $749 for the S8 all the way up to the S8 Ultra 16 gig with 512 gigs of storage for $1599. You also got to remember, if you're going to get that Ultra, you're probably going to want to get the accessories that come along with it, so it's going to add definitely into that price of that, probably putting it close to $2,000 for a tablet at the ultimate price tag. The other thing that you see on here is that obviously you get the Wi-Fi version. That's the other 1612 for $1449. So it's a little bit cheaper, but still, it's gonna be very, very expensive. European prices, American prices, whatever you're paying for the Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra, if you're getting that big boy one, you're gonna spend a lot of money. Next up is, I'm not gonna show you any screenshots, I don't wanna get a copyright strike, but it's about the Galaxy S22 Ultra and the S Pen. I found some marketing images. I'll link the guy that whose Twitter talked about it. You can look through his Twitter feed to find it, but ultimately, he ends up showing us some marketing images, and one of the marketing images shows a Galaxy S22 Ultra, shows an S Pen, and it's not physically writing on the screen, which means that we're gonna get the air gestures with this, which is not a surprise. I mean, if you figure the S Pen goes physically into the phone, you know that it's gonna have Bluetooth functionality, it's gonna charge within the phone, that's why it's all doing that. But just to throw, you know, some confidence into that it should have the air gestures when you use the phone 100% based off of the image that I saw. Our first story is about a dual folding phone patent coming out from Oppo, so check this out. This information is coming out from letsgodigital, and as you can see from the headline, Oppo find an dual fold smartphone. Oppo is working on a unique foldable smartphone with 2 hinges, allowing the triple camera system to be rotated to the front. How cool is that you can rotate that camera around to potentially have the best cameras no matter what you're doing with your foldable phone, allowing for that dual hinge to really give it some functionality over maybe some other foldable phones that we've seen before, where, you know, you get cameras on the front and that's what you get, and the cameras on the back and that's what you get. These ones you can basically just flip-flop them all the way around and get the best photo all the time, no matter which way, in which orientation you have the phone. Now, when and if this phone will come out is another story, but still, it's just cool to see that we're getting more and more companies going into these dual and triple folding hinges, and that's obviously the next evolution of folding phones, so get ready for the future, baby, because it's coming. Next up, Anthony the Galax put together a very nice tweet comparing the Note 20 Ultra 5G versus the S22 Ultra spec for spec, and let's just run through this a little bit. First of all, you see that the screen is going to be a little bit smaller on the S22 Ultra, but both have 120 Hertz refresh rates on there. Snapdragon 865 and Exynos 990 versus the Exynos 2200 and Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. So obviously you get a little bit more power this time around, especially with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. Exynos 2200, we'll wait and see. Camera setup, pretty much the same for the most part. When you look at it side by side, you might even think that, you know what, I'm getting a little bit better with the Note 20 Ultra, but I think with customizations and optimizations and just overall software improvements, you should get better photos with the S22 Ultra. Also, you're getting Gorilla Glass Victus versus Victus Plus, which is newer, better, stronger on the S22 Ultra. Obviously, the prices when they came out, $1299 versus $1199, so a little bit cheaper this time around. The other ones we got, the traditional camera lens versus the super clear lens on the S22 Ultra. Battery's a little bit bigger, you're getting 500 more milliamps. You're getting faster charging, you're getting 45 watt charging. That's supposed to be real 45 watt charging on the S22 Ultra. 12 gigs of RAM across the board for the Note 20 Ultra, except if you got the 4G model, but we're just talking about the 5G. Whereas in the S22 Ultra, you're getting as little as 8 gigs of RAM and as much as 16 gigs of RAM, and then storage 128, 256, and 512 versus 128 all the way up to 1 terabyte on the S22 Ultra. Obviously, S Pen has been improved. The milliseconds is down to 2.8 versus 9 milliseconds on that Note 20 Ultra. Video, you're getting 8K, up to 8K, I should say, on the Note 20 Ultra. But you get 8K Super HDR video recording, so it's been much improved seemingly on the S22 Ultra. Both have IP68 certifications. What about those selfie cameras? You're looking at 10 megapixel on the Note 20 Ultra versus 40 megapixel on the S22 Ultra, so big improvement there. Ultrasonic fingerprint scanner versus the second generation ultrasonic fingerprint scanner. I'm not a fan of either one of these, but hey, I'd rather have Gen 2 versus Gen 1. Stereo speakers across the board for both phones. Micro SD card expansion on the Note 20 Ultra versus none at all on the S22 Ultra. traditional vibration motor versus the new X-axis linear motor on that S22 Ultra. So vibrations, good vibrations, should be good on the new phone. 50x versus 100x zoom, so you're getting a much double the zoom amount on the S22 Ultra, which is really, really cool for moonshots and really, really far away shots and really far away captures of just who is that person from hundreds of yards away. And then software-wise, it launched with One UI 2.5 on that Note 20 Ultra, but it's now at One UI 4, whereas on the S22 Ultra, it's going to launch with One UI 4.1 and then obviously grow from there. So cool to see that nice breakdown of specs from there. And you know, when you look at it, you're like, you know what, there's not that much of an improvement just when you're just looking at them beans for beans, specs for specs. You're not blown away by looking at something on the S22 Ultra. At least I'm not. Again, just looking at the specs. So I'm hoping that the phone is going to be like, wow me, because otherwise it's like, no, it's not that impressive. I mean, it's impressive, but it's not like blow me away impressive. What do you guys think? Next up is a quote unquote first impressions hands-on review of the S22 Ultra, because somebody at a Verizon store who works there got a first hands-on impression of the phone. I kind of wanted to go through the Reddit page of what he responded with what people asked him and what he thought about his first impressions of the phone. So it's kind of like a quote-unquote first review, quote-unquote first hands-on impression of the phone. So let's just check this out. So the headline says, I got to see the S22 Ultra in hand. I work for Verizon in sales. The phone looks exactly like the Note 20 Ultra Pen, built in and body size, but the camera doesn't stick out. It's almost all flat. Ask me anything, I'll try to answer what little info I was given. So the first one says, is it wider than the S21 Ultra and what color did you see? So he said slightly wider look, and I think he saw the black one, but yeah, slightly wider feeling than the S21 Ultra if you're curious. Is it noticeably thicker than the Note 20 Ultra? And he said it felt thinner in hand, so it's kind of interesting. Bigger battery, slightly smaller screen, but it's gonna feel thinner in your hand. Now, what about versus the S21 Ultra? He says it felt larger than that phone, so take that if you want it to be bigger or smaller. He's saying it's gonna feel larger. Also, speaking about the size, he said it feels like it's the same weight as the Note 20 Ultra. The back glass is smooth and nice, and the pen was also the same size as the Note 20 Ultra. Lastly, he says it did show the night mode off, but it was daytime, even with the lights off. My store is glass all around, so it was limited in the showcase. It also had an updated object eraser in the pen mode. So if you wanted to erase things with the pen, they've updated that so you can easily erase things. So there's your first quote unquote hands-on impressions. Obviously it's not completely like which camera's way better, what was the performance, like all the things that you might be interested in, but getting a few details about the feeling of it in your hand and the weight and some of the features is kind of interesting. I mean, we'll take what we can get. The phone's not out for, or at least going to be announced for another week or so. So take that with what you may. First, in our first story is starting off with a bang. It's all about the Google Pixel tablet, not the Google Pixel folding phone, but a Google Pixel tablet. This information is coming from the fine folks over at letsgodigital, where they're saying that a Google Pixel tablet will come with Android 12L OS. That's their new operating system. It's going to be for tablets and large phones. And it seems that Google is intending to develop a new Android tablet according to vacancies from the company, aka job openings. Will this be the alleged Google Pixel tablet? Now, there's not a lot that we know about this tablet, but potentially a little mock-up of what it potentially could look like with the camera under top of the display. And it looks like a nice palette to cleanse your thirst with technology with. It also, I would assume, I don't see it here, but I would assume they'd come out with some kind of pen. They have the pen for their other tablet slash laptop hybrids, and I assume it's gonna come out with their new folding phone as well. So you can probably assume it's gonna be with this iteration of tablet as well. And again, they have job openings supposedly for a tablet, and it's supposed to run Android 12L, which would look something like this because that operating system is optimized for large screens. So we should see Android 12L, which I assume the L stands for large, on not only their notepad phone, their folding phone, but also their new tablet kind of exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Anything new from Google is usually a good thing. Next up, if you're smooth like butter, like a criminal undercover, then you're going to be excited for this because Samsung is officially announcing that in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you got to stay tuned for Samsung Unpacked. Remember, Samsung Unpacked February 9th and live on Samsung.com. You're going to be able to see BTS. It looks like they have some kind of breakdown going on with BTS going with them. It could be, I don't know if it's a BTS version of the phone like they had in previous years, which would be kind of cool, or some kind of just unveiling from BTS overall. But interesting stuff. If you're a BTS fan, my wife absolutely loves these guys and plays them so much that I know all their hits now. Yeah, it's kind of cool to see this. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for BTS at Samsung Galaxy Unpacked. Next up is a little hypothetical tweet that potentially might happen with the next Galaxy, but ultimately Ice Universe is saying that the S22 Ultra has a dual curved screen design, which makes it impossible to achieve a four-sided equal width design. But if the quad curved design is used, this problem can be solved very well. It's too early to talk about the S23. I hope this news is true and he's pulling it from Kartiki Singh, who I have no idea who that is, but ultimately they put that the Samsung S23 series is going to have a quad curved screen. So I don't even love curved screens. I know some people do, some people don't. I like a nice flat display, just like the Earth is flat. Just joking. I know it's curved or rounded, whatever. Yeah, so kind of interesting and cool to see that if you're a curved fan, you might have curves on all four ends of this phone. Tell me how that makes you feel. It's kind of interesting, right? Or is it lame? Next, Samsung says ready to break the rules of creation. Discover all the powerful tools at your fingertips. Unblock your creativity. Samsung Unpacked. And they posted this little video showing off a bunch of quote-unquote tools that you'll be able to turn your phone into, from a paintbrush to the S Pen to this and to that. So kind of interesting. Again, do I have any other words rather than interesting? If you're doing a drinking game and interesting's your word, you're gonna be super drunk. But yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, they're giving us they always do this. They give you little breadcrumbs to feed on until the phone actually comes out. And we'll see if this really is a creation device or not. It will be, because it's, you know, got the S Pen and everything else baked into the phones. First one, not so cool, because you're going to be paying more money to Amazon if you subscribe to Amazon Prime. This story just broke today, and Amazon is increasing the cost of Prime now. You can see from the headline, they're increasing the price of Prime by 17%. to now $139 a year. Previously, it was $119 per year. And what they're also doing is they're increasing the monthly cost as well, obviously. If you pay for it monthly, you're gonna go from $12.99 to $14.99, so $2 more per month. And then also this is gonna go into effect if you're a new customer as early as February 18th. And if you're a current customer, you'll get billed at the higher rate starting on March 25th or whenever your renewal date is. Amazon is getting very expensive now at this point. It's getting to the point like, okay, do I need this service for 140 bucks? I don't ever really watch Amazon Prime Video that much. There's a show called Upload that I do like, but it's very few and often that comes out. I do use Amazon quite a bit, but not all that much. And if you spend 35 bucks, you already get free shipping anyway. I don't know, there's some things that are holding me back. I'm like, yeah, maybe I don't need it, but I've had it for so many years. It's like taking away a piece of me in a way. What do you guys think about the price increase? Next up has to do with the Galaxy S22 Ultra 1 terabyte version. We haven't been hearing a lot about the 1 terabyte, even in some of the specs that have come out recently. A lot of the people in the specs aren't putting 1 terabyte out, but we do have a little bit of good news coming out of a tweet from Roland Quan, who has an excellent track record. And he's saying he can confirm the 1 terabyte Galaxy S22 Ultra is a thing, though not for all markets. Obviously, it's kind of vague and like, okay, which markets? Where's it going to come out? But you have to come to the conclusion that, you know, if it does come out, you got to think the big boys. China, you got to think Korea, potentially and hopefully America. But, you know, we've seen some weird stuff here in America where it doesn't come out. So, I mean, in Europe, obviously, in India and these other places, but ultimately it's probably going to be in the countries where they sell a lot, people who don't mind spending a lot of money, and that's probably going to be the use case for this. But if those markets do get released, I'll let you guys know, but still, let's have some hope for the 1 terabyte version still. Next up is also about the Galaxy S22 Ultra phone and the cameras and the much improved low light / night photos. And this is all great news, because if you're getting a Galaxy S22 Ultra, you want a really great camera, especially when it's low light and dark. And let's check this out. So this is a little headline that Sam Mobile put together, saying that Samsung's Tiger in the City marketing campaign highlights Galaxy S22's improved low light camera. Now, how are they going to improve this? They're going to improve it with artificial intelligence, the same way Google does, and Samsung already does a lot of AI stuff as well. And then also the hardware. So it's going to be a melting pot of hardware and software mixed together to give you better low light photos. And then to add on to that, Do-Hyun Kim, probably butchered your name, sorry, one of the sources has also tested, one of his sources has tested the S22 Ultra and claims that the S22 Ultra takes better night photography than the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So this is just all around great news. If you like photography, I put an R in there, photography and video, and just overall usage of, using this phone to content create or just to use on your own personal time, it's looking like a beast so far, and that is excellent news. And right off the bat, you even have to think like this is gonna probably be the phone of the year, right? For everybody. I think most people are gonna use this and be like, just like they did last year, S21 Ultra is the best phone. They'll probably say S22 Ultra is the best phone. It'll be the best phone. First story of the day is potentially our first look at an actual photo sample taken with the Galaxy S22 Ultra. Why do I say that? Well, one is because the folks at Sam Mobile put a headline saying, is this the first official Galaxy S22 Ultra camera sample? And they're pinpointing it to a tweet that has gone out from Samsung Mobile. And Samsung Mobile says, "Epic night, epic sights. Welcome to the Beijing 2022 opening ceremony. Let the games begin. Hashtag make nights epic. Hashtag with Galaxy." That's why we think it was taken with it, because of the hashtag with Galaxy. Learn more. And we look at the photo. I mean, the photo doesn't blow me away. It's also been uploaded to Twitter, so there's some compression that's been added to it. But it is a photo of the Winter Olympics. Whatever. It's not the best photo I've ever seen, but it's hard to tell. It doesn't look bad, I would say, but it's kind of interesting. It might be, again, the very first sample we've seen of the Galaxy S22 Ultra. What do you think about this photo? Let me know in the comments down below. The next two stories are pretty crazy, and it's because Samsung's not even holding back, and neither is anybody else, because we see the first one from Chun saying, yeah, we can't hide the phones any longer, Samsung. That's what they're saying. And this is an advertisement that was found on Facebook. It says, pre-order your all-new S22 and get up to $200 of Samsung credit, plus shop more great phones, tablets, watches, and more. And obviously this is like an American advertisement, so it looks like it's showing off not only the advertisement, but also you're gonna get $200 in credits. I was thinking $150, but it sounds like if you get the S22 Ultra, you're probably gonna get $200, I should say, total. The plus version will probably be $175 if I had to guess, and then $150 for the regular S22, or it might even be less than that. Maybe it'd be 200, 150, and 125, or 200, 150, and 100 for the phones. But yeah, definitely up to $200 it looks like for credits that you can use in the store of the Galaxy. So very cool to see that. And then also, someone snapped a photo of this. Do-Hyun Kim shows an AT&T store with an S22 Ultra or series poster on the wall. Like, this is pretty ridiculous, but it's really, really funny to see all of this stuff. So let's first talk about the 1 terabyte version. I know a lot of you are interested in getting the 1 terabyte version of the Galaxy S22 Ultra. We have a little bit of clarity, at least in potentially 2 places, that version of the phone will be out, and it's not really a big surprise because it's come out in the past for these countries to have better versions than almost the rest of the world. And you can see Ice Universe's tweet saying Chinese and Korean versions of the S22 Ultra are almost certain to exist in 1 terabyte versions. But then when you look down below a little bit, Ishan Agarwal has got a great track record, is saying yes, 100% for the Korean market. I know a few of you that watch my channel are from Korea, at least a couple, I've seen some comments, people saying they're from Korea and stuff like that, which is amazing to reach. I'm in freaking California, grew up in Massachusetts, and to have somebody in all these crazy, you know, far countries from me watch my videos is absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for watching my stuff wherever you live. But yeah, interesting to see that. Hopefully we'll know more and when and if it's going to come to where you live and I live in just less than 72 hours. If you're curious what the retail box is going to look for the Galaxy S22 phones, here is your first look. This is a render of what the box is going to look like. This isn't not an official box, but this is what the box will look like. So you get an idea of what the artwork looks like on the Galaxy S22 series of phones. You can see, obviously, they put the Galaxy S22 Ultra next to it with its tri-camera setup on the back there, and also the S Pen, and just the squared off edges of this, and obviously the squared off edges of the box, like any box would be, but that is what it's going to look like. Next up, want to see a real life photo of the Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra with the notch. You can actually see how small the notch is on this. So I don't think a lot of people would be that bothered by it, which is, I think, a good thing. So let's look at this photo. This photo was leaking out, I guess, out of Vietnam, and Carl Coyne posted a Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra, and when we take a better look orientation-wise at this photo, you can see that notch is really, really small. The bezels on the tablet overall are really, really small, and I think overall it's going to be a tablet that most people covet. Maybe it might be too big with that 14.6-inch display. Maybe people will go towards the 12.7 S8 Plus version, but still, when you see this, I don't think that notch is gonna, you know, grab you and pull your attention away from that ultra huge display. No pun intended by throwing the ultra word in there, but what do you guys think? You think it's too big, too small, too perfect? Let me know in the comments below. Next up is about the Galaxy Z Fold 4. Now, Z Fold 3 has been out for a few months here now. Z Fold 4 should be coming out within the next 6 months. August, it should be out. September at the latest, but in that August-September timeframe, we should have the Z Fold 4, and we're going to hear more and more about this phone over the next few months. So make sure you're subscribed and you follow the channel, because I will be talking about it, because it's the most exciting phone that's coming out this year, probably in my eyes. And this tweet's coming from KFC Man, also known as Chun, saying, based on the current prototypes lying around the headquarters, I can confirm that the aspect ratio of the Z4 Fold's outer screen will have an upgrade. But how significant the upgrade is, we will have to wait and see, because there are prototypes that are big, some are small, some not even upgraded at all. And what he means by that is that outside display, the tall, skinny display, there's rumors of that being bigger. And that's one of the major things I need in my eyes for that phone, is a bigger outside display. I almost never use that outside display, and when I do use it, it's not a fun thing to use. It's just too tall and skinny, and it's really the skinny part that bothers me the most. You can't type on it. I personally can't read much off of it. You also have to remember, this should have the new Galaxy S22/S22 Plus camera setup, meaning that it should have a 30x zoom on there. So the camera should be improved with artificial intelligence and software-based simulation, or whatever you want to call it, to improve the software. But 30x zoom is a lot better than, I think, what is it, 10x now? Better video, obviously. Potentially bigger battery if they're going to make the outside display bigger. You could fit a bigger battery in there. So a lot of good things potentially coming to the Z Fold 4. I still think they're going to keep the body type very similar so they can get the price down. I hope I'm wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised at all.